Let me bring that up. Hit that like button. Subscribe, of course, to the channel. If you can hear me, press 1. Oh, what a great weekend. Lots of great information. One for the ages. A week that if you look back over this past week and research the information that if you just played with it a little bit, you probably, stumbled across some great information. A lot of people have, and I'm just here to present some of it as I make our way to this whatever truth this is when uncovering the past transgressions. And oh my goodness, I was watching the Man in the High Castle again, and it just brings back this damn Black Holocaust once again. What's up with it, Todd? Good to see you out there. For His glory. The Lewis family, what's up with it? Karen, good to see you out there. Rado from Connecticut, thank you for the continuous support on this show. Amanda's in the chat room early. Brittany with the post. Hit the like button, hit the links if you want to support the broadcast. What's up with it, Brian King? Mrs. Lori, good to see you out there. But where we left off at a critical point in this sitcom. This historical sitcom. We left off with the Buffalo Soldiers. Press 1. And it was the first time any of us already said, the black cowboy shit really affected me. But the Buffalo Soldiers, oh yes, that affected a lot of people right there. And it's good to see the response I'm getting from all over the place. What's up with it, Ali? Good to see you. Max and Janita Moore, good to see you as well. Yeah, the Success Builder, good to see you out there. Yeah, all the little champions is out here. What's up with it, Jet James? Good to see you way in the back. Shalise is still around learning as she should. What's going on? Terry B, Michelle Walker. Yeah, it's good to see some of the familiars still hanging around this camp as we continue. What's up, Derek? Royal Purple. Good to see you all the time in classroom. Front row most of the time. Where's Love, bring your ass over here. Sheva was good with it. Good to see you still out there. Yeah, billionaire status. Good to see you too. D-Jack is in the world still around this mug. Yeah, get ready to learn some today. Them Buffalo Soldiers, bro, I wouldn't have never thought. But I had to go do my research. And since we're talking about a specific time frame, it's getting real critical the closer we get to this source. I don't find Russian hats. Press 1. It was one thing when we got Italy, when we fought for France. Press 1. It's one thing when we fought for France and we had the funny looking little helmets on. But by golly, to see you in Prussia, Russian gear is just by far the greatest what the fuck moment. One of the greatest I've had here. What's up with it? Jamie Lee, Teresa Green. Yeah. So, let me get to this photo because I want to compare this photo to a few things. So, why do I throw Marcus Garvey in there? Well, Marcus Garvey, if you look closely, he's fighting with the cross, with the iron cross on his chest. Does anybody else see that iron cross sitting right there on Marcus? Anybody else see the iron cross sitting right there on Marcus Garvey's flannel right there on his jacket military garment? You notice his garment is like the leader of these other guys. Whatever. Man, black community ain't gonna be right after this online. It ain't gonna be right. Also, on the Buffalo Soldiers, there are some gentlemen wearing these feathers. And I thought that was real peculiar. But nonetheless, this is a German / Prussia. I don't know why it's German and Prussia. But what is it doing on Buffalo Soldiers? Well, it seems like we're going to have to face this reality, family. That there are I'm just proving it. They were foreign troops fighting with the Confederates. Here's the pictures here. Here's Russia. I already told y'all about black Nazi. I'm talking about black communists. Black Russians. I don't want to hear nothing about Knights of Malta, nothing, Tyler. This ain't your classroom where you just blurt out shit. See you tomorrow. This is about what everybody know as the Buffalo Soldiers in this military gear that they have on. That just goes to show you they were blacks affiliated, black folk affiliated with the subversion and coup d'etat of this nation. This is in fact proof that foreigners, black foreigners as well, invaded this nation. That's why they were called the volunteers. See, back then, it was a must that you defended your nation. There was no question about it. There was no question about it. You defended this. There was no such thing as no damn volunteers and calling up no volunteer. No. You were already in military. National Guardsmen. That's what I kept telling everybody. A lot of your forefathers were military personnel, and when overthrowing a nation, you have to pretend, if you're going to give them a history, that you fought, that you were a Buffalo Soldier, some old superhero type of shit. When you realize, like, damn, those are Russian helmets and Civil War garments. Just think about it. Those are Russian. Those are Turk. You can look this. Let me look on mine. Where's my phone? The Turks uses. Didn't I tell y'all Ice Cube and them remind me of black Turkish? It's a must that you understand. You gotta understand the full military garments that people was wearing back then. This is why we don't really know our history. We know everybody else's history but everybody else's, because we so caught up in entertainment, as if entertainment is a damn culture. As if, and then you complain when you're in their entertainment business about how they are. I just don't get the crybaby ass community no more. I don't get it. It's a crybaby. The black community, when dealing with rap and shit, that shit is the most crybaby ass community I've ever seen. So it's important when researching this that we go back, fam, and look at the individuals, not only theirs but our military gear. What were your military gear? They got you looking like you just was wearing hand-me-downs and you had no experience. You need General Lee to come help you from the Confederate Army. And meanwhile, all of this theater, all of it is theater of World War I, World War II, the Great War, what they call in the Revolutionary War. So many wars in such little time frames. But this will let you know that this black Imperial Guard are in fact of the czars. I kept telling y'all, these are people, these are foreigners. So you telling me y'all were slaves while the czars, the so-called cavemen or Esau, was running around this earth in full military garb and full clothes, and you was just a savage Indian, like Dan Calloway said. And you was just that. You were just a savage Indian or a savage African. Pick one. No, you couldn't. No, it was only the Romanovs in Poland and them people dressing in fine clothes. No, Hyundai and Callaway. We lived in teepees. Fuck it. We lived in teepees and did fur trap. We hunted beavers. Oh my goodness, family. Oh my goodness. This right here should let you know that our history has been sold to us by those who enslaved you. You're not free. You're enslaved. You went right into bondage. Right with the overthrow. Now, their black, African, and French stories that they have is the blanket what happened to you. They are the official cover story of your trauma. You're going to forever have a Tamika Mallory. You're going to forever have one of these African dudes, one of these foreigners from Lebanon, some damn where, some old black COINTELPRO press one, some old Hindu Turk running around talking about we, highly funded too. They always come out swinging. I never trusted Ice Cube. I know he's a Turk. He looked like a damn... He looked like one of them. But here, let me show you something else. I'm gonna show you something else. I'm gonna come back to this because the Buffalo Soldier thing that had me on a little personal, like wow, this is the foreign military right here given the time, and we're already looking at military personnel. Shout out to the people researching, especially Taj, those Russians. I told a lot of people, I say, y'all need to go back and research those Russians and research those Russians at about that time, so you can get a clear view of the American and the Russian, all the characters that they plan and stuff like that, so you can see the difference. So you can see the similarities. You can see the similarities in these people's stories, their Russian revolutions, and what was going on at this time. Because remember, I told you, Grover Cleveland, William Howard Taft, J.P. Morgan, all of these dudes are portraying specific characters. But one of my students told me something and gave me this picture, and I want you guys to see this. This is gonna hurt here. Now, do you know who this is? We breaking history down. Do y'all know who this is? This is Chief Justice William Howard Taft of the Supreme Court, family. Now listen to me. I told y'all to get y'all dates down and to follow these individuals. Each individual got a story. Each one of them. Now this guy here is Chief Justice William Howard Taft. Are you paying attention? That's right in association with Mr. McKinley, Grover Cleveland, Mr. Theodore Roosevelt, and all presidents that was in that time. And all of them. Now that says a lot about what laws were being passed, what actors was in play at the time, who was like look at the roles that got to be played. Okay. So he's Chief Justice. You got all of these presidents. You got postmasters. When you got the postmaster who so you got characters. You got specific individuals playing characters that are in positions of power to steal everything from you. And I think because our people was kind of like in internment camps. Press one. I think because our people was in internment camps, we really didn't know what was going on. You ask any of your forefathers what was going on at this time, only thing they know is internment camp, involuntary servitude. Press one. Say it with me. Involuntary servitude. Because that's what happened. Now, what happened to all the black people you should be seeing around that time? All your history is a damn joke. You got the asylum. You got J.P. Morgan. Okay, Theodore Roosevelt, William Howard Taft, Grover Cleveland. I already told you, all of these individuals look alike. Oh, I'm sorry. If you can't say your name, you're out of bounds. I'm sorry about that. You got to understand that. William Howard Taft and Grover Cleveland and Roosevelt, all these little fat fucks look alike. Okay? So, what happened to all of the American black people that was here? What happened to them? Now, what happened to all of the black? That is the question of history. And no, I'm not talking about no damn Indians or you was shipped from some damn Africa from somewhere. What happened to all of the black people from the 1600s, 1700s, 18? These are generations. These are millions of people. What happened to them? That's what helps this channel. This is what helps this channel just stay afloat. It's these simple questions. What happened to all of the American Negroes that was here in the internment camps, that was put on the trains, never to return? And how do the so-called Jewish people of Europe have the same story that you have, but you just don't know you got it? Now, I'm not standing in front of no Barclay Center. I'm not standing in front of no Barclay Center as no Hebrew Israelite. That's what I'm not doing. This is silliness. We're going to ask real questions about how you were overthrown.
Yeah, bro.
Deborah, you on the air. What's up?
Oh, yes. I'd like to share a little story they told me about the reservation camp.
The internment camps, huh?
Yes, sir. They call them reservation. They call them sobriety camps. They call them whatever they want to call them, depending on their motive.
Well, we talking about the internment camps. I'm talking about the internment camps from the early 1900s.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This is the pictures I sent you of the flooded canals in the Johnstown flooding.
Got you. You sent them to me this morning?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I got you.
It's a long. I mean, I sent you a lot of stuff, so I won't go into all that right now.
Okay, just kind of breeze through it as much as you can. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to breeze through it, and I'm going to get you a little bit of pieces of it. It seems that they would build canals for industry reasons, therefore no one gets a say in it. Then they put little camps of people on these rivers, use and abuse them as ever they wanted, and then flood them out. And it happened all over
So they
every
would
city.
set up
It looks like,
along
but I
the
can't
river.
prove that. Excuse me?
Are you saying they would set up along the river?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. That's the picture of the men standing with guns piled above the canals is after the flood. I just see, with God's given me the Holy Spirit in my eyes and in my heart to see these things. They are jumping out at me. They're building canals before they ever flood, just for a reasoning like we need places to put these immigrants.
Right.
So they build them out. When you put a picture on earlier of moving vans, moving people in, it's all fake. And I know it's fake because the name on the side of the vans are fake. The Pan Am is the name of the tribe they signed me up to.
Right.
And I'm white with an admixture of, they call it African American, and they point at it every time on my blood work. And I'm just telling them, that's an admixture. That's something somebody put in the past to create their race. That they wanted me to pass for a red man. And then
They
as
wanted
I
you
grew
to
up,
pass for so-called Indian.
Yes.
So that'd be the black trace in your blood, the small
Yes.
genome. Go ahead.
yes, and
Go
then
ahead.
and my grandmother patted me on the head, would ruffle my hair, say, "You will pass," and told me, "And when you make it in your life, you look back at them and tell them you was a nigger all along." And that sounds to me like brainwashing.
Of course. Well, it's not
Yes,
only
sir.
that, it's trickery. It's trickery because it's pretty much prepping you for, the what if, the reclaiming happens and you were black.
Yeah,
Pretty
and-
much you had to drop rule. You had it in you the whole time. Go ahead.
So my story goes there now. Internet has offered me reparations through that little bit of paperwork that the doctors made up. And they've offered me reparations through my great-great-great-grandmother was put into a workhouse in New Iberia, a washerwoman, for insubordinate sex with someone else. When actually this was all created for insubordinate sex with someone else. It's mothers of the revolution. They're becoming mothers. They're not already mothers. Sorry, I got a little excited on that one
Yeah, I
because
get you.
they use that with my body, and it infuriates me. But God made me say no so many times that they just kept finding other things for me to do.
So let me
I
ask
just
you,
became a slave.
what happened to all the black people in the internment camps?
Sir, I believe they were used as commodities.
When you say commodity, what do you mean?
Pig iron.
Say it again.
Sir, minerals, gold, pig iron, carbon, names, property, ownership. They needed no moving vans because the houses were full of things already.
Yeah, they were already
These were
they were
veterans.
already full of oh my goodness, you're absolutely right.
Yes, these were veterans' homes. These were the men that even came over. Even the men that came over got screwed.
So they just pretty
Thinking
much
that
walked in
my
these
father
people
got
homes
screwed.
because they were available.
Right. I don't know all the ramifications of my own family. I only know what the internet is offering.
Yeah, but it's, I mean, that's the idea that I'm getting, that, after, the floods or whatever it took that got these people evacuated, it was wide open. I mean, these people valuables from silverware, banks, all of this was in house. You're pretty much assuming that position. Go ahead.
Sir, they I wouldn't get along, so they don't mind breaking bones, you know. I kept drawing tittles over my U's in like before kindergarten, cursive writing before kindergarten. I think I'm older than they say, and I know how to ski. And I've never been in the snow, but like once when a baby. But I know how to ski, and I don't even have a proper ankle. It's like they train me on all kinds of things I don't remember. I don't really know yet, but God will reveal, and that's a whole bunch of stuff I sent you, and I'm trying to stay on focus and pray before every movement and every word so that I can be true.
So it's quite possible. Yeah, I mean, I noticed you sent me some work on Carnegie. What did you want me to get from that?
The work on Carnegie was, you had mentioned Marie Carnegie was involved in the beginning
Of the
and
right.
Mr. Carnegie is there. Mrs. Daughters of the Revolution, her name is Fanny Stockton. She's an actress. She got in there, and I believe Fanny Stockton is someone else's name. She got in there as an actress and then immediately removed her name from the Daughters of the American Revolution. Then she got in some physical, financial trouble. Anyway, she's like hand in hand, her husband and Carnegie, and they're all just face shifters. And, you know, and then she became the 9th president of the Daughters of the American Revolution as a criminal, as a convicted criminal. So it's deep.
Well, we're
My
trying
mother
to
was in
we're
the
trying to
Daughters of the
see
Revolution, and I refused,
just how
so
deep it
that's how I
goes,
have that
because
information.
if these people, we already know documented that after these towns were evacuated, a lot of these people were seized, and a lot of these people were put on trains never to return.
Yes, sir. I have train stories. It's real. There's lakes down here that they periodically flood, and they periodically drain them, and they periodically burn the bushes to keep the trains from being seen by boats. They say that the lake leaked and they had to put all the trains in there. And the bones are calling to me in so many pits and ponds out here.
Well, do you think? Have you ever heard yourself of a Negro extermination program?
Yes, sir.
When you heard of that?
From your show, sir.
Oh, okay. Well, other than
I see it.
I'm saying in life.
No.
Have you ever heard?
Sir, everybody in the family, on both sides, up and down, if you can't pass for an Indian, you better be a white person. Because you will be treated very, very poorly until you get Indian status. It's
What
like the most important
happened?
thing in the world.
Okay.
Excuse me?
Okay, that's cool. What I'm focused on is the extermination. That's what I'm focused on. I'm focused on the complete annihilation, white supremacist Adolf Hitler style, of Afro-Americans who were put on trains by the dozens and exterminated. That's what I'm looking for.
Sir, I do not have any personal information about that,
well,
but I do know that I do know why they put the parks out there.
Oh, okay. Well, call back when we start talking about parks. Thank you, Deborah.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. We're going to talk about the national parks and what that stand for. But I'm looking around this time of what happened, and not through no slavery story, of all of the Negroes and what's the story behind it. Even though I kind of got it, I want you guys to hear something. I was watching The Man in the High Castle yesterday, and just because something to watch and to go over, and I want y'all to hear something. Okay, I want y'all to hear some of this, because a lot of people don't got this type of activity on it. I want y'all to hear something. What I heard.
I'm Crockett.
Coffee and Kush TV on the air. What up?
Hey, it was good, Kev. This is Tyron Crockett.
What up, Tyron?
Hey, what's up? All right, so who's asking? Hold on, 1 second. Give me 1 second. All right, we on the subject of what happened to our dead soldiers, our dead people.
Right.
And all right, hold on 1 second. All right, so because it's this thing called the ABCM, the American Battle Monument Commission.
Okay.
And all right, so they started they called that, the abbreviation was ABMC, and it was for the it was for the World War I, World War II, the Spanish War. Hold on, I'm trying to find it in my notes. I wrote it down. Okay, well, it was the Spanish War, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, all of the wars. So the whole thing about the ABNC, it was built by Roosevelt had something to do with it too. It was Roosevelt, and it was So what this program did though was that and they got 26 burial sites
Very interesting.
They got us everywhere. So the thing is, we got burial sites overseas. We have burial sites, and it's all from the day of the war. So we basically posted all around, like, you know what I'm saying?
Wait. So it's exactly what I thought. We got our soldiers are all over. A lot of our soldiers are all overseas.
Right. So yeah, say today it's 124 American dead enter in all these cemeteries. It's 30,973 World War I commemorative cemeteries. So that's how many cemeteries there are. 30,973 for World War I commemorative cemeteries.
Really?
It's 750 for the Mexican War. It's 15. It said more than 15,000. So I wrote down 15,000 plus for the American vets, and others are entered in the Mexico National Cemetery, Carozzo American Cemetery, and the Clark Veteran Cemetery. Is more than 94,000 plus American.
Jeez. Okay.
Oh yeah, 94,000 American servicemen and women who were missing in action. This is what they see. The words they use: missing in action, lost, or buried at sea.
Oh my goodness.
World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War. Commemorated by the name on the stone tablets in the ABMC. I didn't know that because I was I think I got some in the car, man. I'll be taking my notes and not be at work, so they kind of everywhere right now. My laptop broke on me, so I've been I've been a little bit scared with it, but. Yep. Hey, that's on the subject of where our people at. So we scattered everywhere. They got to scatter everywhere. I know for a fact that Teddy Roosevelt, where's the date? 1934.
And you're lost at sea.
Yeah, and he lost that. I underlined it. Lost at sea. That's what they say. Lost at sea, or lost or buried at sea. That was the exact words: missing in action, lost or buried at sea. And we already know, you know, who was lost and buried at sea. You know, they wasn't really lost or you know what I'm saying. They know what happened. All right, National Trust. across the board of government of American Revolution. Okay, that's not that. All right. Yeah. So, all right. And the function of this facility was to erecting a non-sectarian chapel in each of the 8 military cemeteries of the foreign soil was established by the War Department of entered the dead of in the war, landscaping each of the cemeteries and installing permanent headstones. This is all the things that they're in charge of doing. Erecting 2 separate monuments and 2 markers elsewhere in Europe to commemorate significant campaigns and engagements. So they doing this to support the campaigns and engagements. So, okay, yeah, we got this going on, and the crafty council that's hooking up behind the scenes and doing all this stuff, and this is how it was legal. That this was like a legislation passed in 1934. I wrote down that president name, but I know Roosevelt was right there. He was right there with his ass. All right, so another function was in constructing all like Allied Expeditionary Forces World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. And I was going down to World War II. I didn't finish that research yet, but that was just the beginning of it, just to give us a little push in the direction of what happened with us. And they got us all scattered across the overseas. Got over here. I mean, we everywhere. So they got us. They got us everywhere.
Let me ask you a question. How you fighting Spanish wars and all of these wars, so-called? If you didn't even fight for these people in World War I and II, you didn't fight for America in World War I and II.
That's right.
So when did the Buffalo Soldiers fight for America?
I cannot answer that, kid. I can't answer that, kid. But hey, I'm gonna get on it. And I just want to let you know they got us all scattered everywhere, and we got thousands of burial sites scattered across everywhere. And then so during that time, what also was passed was the next to kinfolk legislation, which allowed everybody to the next of kinfolk through whatever paperwork that they could prove to so that that person would get all of the be the beneficiary of the fallen
soldiers. That's what Deborah was telling us, that they pretty much was assuming these roles, and that's what we were figuring out. They just, I mean, all the blacks that died in World War I, World War II, lost at sea or whatever, all of their names and pensions. It was so hard for their family to even get their pensions because they wouldn't even confirm if these people was even dead. But we'll talk about it.
Yes, sir, that was right. All right, yes, thank you.
My man. Coffee and Kush TV. A beautiful day. A beautiful day. So they had you all over the place running around, but you didn't serve with different colored people like this. A lot of these people look like they wearing blackface, to tell you the truth. And one thing about blackface is blackface was used like sunblock. I want a lot of y'all to know this. A lot of it was not to make fun of you. Blackface was used as sunblock because these people was not used to this heat, the sun, from Florida to California. They weren't ready for that type of shit coming from Europe. That atmosphere is not even there like that at all. So a lot of these people, was wearing. See, if you take a one of those light bulbs. Now listen to me. If you go out and put sunscreen on, right? As a so-called white person, if you put this on, you covering yourself in all black. You just don't know it yet. Under a specific light, it'll show that you are all black. I think it's a regular light, just contrast. It'll just be contrast. I mean, all these folks you see walking around is actually covered in clear black charcoal that'll show up under a specific ultraviolet light or some shit. UV light. There you go. So a lot of it, but I'm trying to figure out, how they had our soldiers out fighting the Spanish War and this war and that war, when the whole time they were doing American coups to black towns all over the place. Now, while these wars is going on, coup d'etats is going on all over America. Listen to me. You supposed to be fighting with the white man, allegedly. While these wars is going on, everybody is here at the World Fair. While these wars is going on, you not there. You in the reserve. You've been called to action. So that just leaves open communities. They there by way of, I'm talking millions of people. You know how many people brought in the World Fairs? They'll tell you millions, 60 million, 50 million people. You're like, what the hell? Hell no. It is when they invading the whole nation. It'll be 60 million. You in the internment camp, your sons are at war in the middle of the ocean somewhere. I just want you to picture how you would be vulnerable to this type of coup d'etat. Again, Wilmington is just a historic, monumental cesspool of treasure. If you're trying to figure out these timelines, because you're specifically in the Spanish War when they're couping the nation. If it's even a war going on at all, I'm thinking there's just genocide. I'm thinking they putting these boys up on trains and getting them up out of there, ready for service, and they leading them right to their own demise. Coffee and Kush TV, you on the air? What up?
Young Kev, this is El Chuco, man, Mr. 500, man. I'm back again.
What up with it?
Hey, so I was kind of confused because I'm reading that the divisional nickname Buffalo Soldiers Division was inherited from the 366th Infantry, right? One of the first units organized in the division. But then it says the 92nd Infantry Division was the only African-American division that participated in combat in Europe during World War II, right? So, I'm kind of confused because what do the 366th Infantry have to do with the 92nd? You get what I'm saying?
But which ones are the Hellfighters?
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, okay, one of these divisions is the infiltrators or something like that. Because it's like something off because, okay, if the Buffalo Soldiers is the 366th Infantry, right, or whatever, right? Okay, why do they specify that the 92nd Infantry Division was the only African American division that participated in World War II? Which we already know from months ago, you was talking about the 369th Infantry. Remember, those was the first royalties that you focused on. You get what I'm saying? Yes. So I'm like they sent off. I believe that they were sending divisions off, and then they would have just other races from all type of countries. Like it may be Haitians, it might be Black Russians, it might be just all type of, and they was just switching them out. They send them out, bring some in. Send them out, bring them in.
I believe that a lot of these home fighters were being shipped out, and foreigners were coming back. They look nothing like Afro Americans. Nothing.
Exactly. And it don't make no sense for them to specify that the 92nd Infantry is the only African American infantry division. Because then, okay, if the 92nd is the only African Americans, then what race was the 366th Infantry?
Oh,
you feel me? So yeah, you feel me? So like it's right there.
We wasn't African American at the time.
Right. You right about that.
We wasn't African American at the time.
Nah, at that time it was colored, I believe.
American at the time was just a fucking idea. That was a collection of all of these people that they can live in harmony over here.
Right.
That's there was no corporate America back then.
Right.
So African American wasn't even a term.
Yeah, you're right about that, because I believe at that time,
come on, bro.
A lot of us was going by colored at that time, if I'm not mistaken.
Bro, come on, bro. African American wasn't even a term, bro. So you a liar, and they trying to blend us all in so we won't see the deception on the many black folk that they used to subvert and usurp our people.
Right. Yeah, man. I was just keeping game on that, man. I want to call in, man, and shit, I'm gonna double back, man. You feel me? I'm gonna double back on you. I just want to make sure when I call, though, I got something to say. I don't want to call and just be saying a bunch of nothingness. You feel me?
I got you. So, I saw you going through those notes, man. Much love.
Yeah. All right, appreciate you.
My man, that's what I like right there. Don't just call with nothing to say. Call with your notes and stuff. We going through Article 36 under that huge corporation, under the umbrella of what? The National Red Cross, and the overthrow of you. And installing this federalized so-called American corporate entity, dead entity, on top of real people. So let me play this. So y'all can understand exactly what it is I'm watching here. What a beautiful day. Okay, so I'm not going to play the video, but I will play the sound of the young girl asking her mom. Now listen to this.
The Negroes, the Jews, all those people, what happened to them?
Killed who?
The Negroes, the Jews, all those people, what happened to them? I need to hear it from you.
Okay, they sent them to camps.
And what did they do in the camps?
They forced them to work.
And what? Where are they now?
They're gone. They killed them.
You and Daddy were a part of it.
Yes. Yes, we were. It was a different time. We felt like our world, it had just ended. It was a decision that we made for one day that led to 20 years.
You could have escaped to the neutral zone.
We could have, yes, but we didn't.
So you joined the party instead. Daddy was in the SS.
I did it because I believed in it. Not at first, but later, I believed in All of
The
it.
camps where they killed the Jews and the Negroes.
All of it. All of it. They told us it was necessary. I didn't ask any questions. I didn't even think about those people until... Until we became those people.
She said, we didn't think about these people until we became those people. Listen.
You got all this.
We didn't do it for this. We did it to keep you alive. Keep Thomas alive, did you? Oh God, Jennifer.
You got all this from these black people? From these... This is what's going on. And then it's another clip. It's another clip where she stumbled across all of the internment camps that Negroes were sent to in the West Coast. Now listen to me. By trains. They were stuffing them into trains that'll lead to the incinerator, and they'd gas them out when they took a shower. Remember I was telling you they'd put them on train? They'd go straight to the incinerator room. They'd get in the shower, pretend they taking showers, and spray gas in the showers. And dump and remove all the bodies by train. By train. By train. Exactly what we study in here. Which is why you have to know you were completely exterminated. That's what happened. That's what happened. You think the Romans and all of these people are the only ones? That all that stuff in the Bible, when they talking about the Romans and all that stuff is not old. They wasn't wearing no damn sandals and all this little imagery y'all got in y'all heads. All this shit is talking about right now. Right now, a few days ago. And you just forgot. Look at this. Look at this. I want you to pay attention to Lieutenant Custard and all of these folk here on this postcard. Press 1. Captain Mao Kyo Kosh. Press 1. You see him? You see them Imperial Guard outfits that he wearing, just like those people who overthrew you? Now listen to you. Listen to him. Russians, Romanovs of the church. Oh, they did a code number on you, but I want you to focus on that name because I'm going to show you what he represents. Shout out to the people in my Cash App. If you want to contribute to this broadcast, go to my Cash App. My cash tag is Gills Gang, family. I want y'all to pay attention to that name first off. Coffee and Kush TV, you on the air? What up?
Yo, first of all, you the illest, man. My name's Cedric. Last name Blue.
Cedric
calling
Blue.
from DC, but I'm from New York.
New York
Yeah.
in the building. Shout out to you, man. Thanks a lot, champ.
And what's messing me up, every time you shout out Ced, I know it's Ced Bernardo, but every time you say Ced in the building, I'm like, yeah, I'm in the building, but I ain't.
Yeah, no. That's, yeah. But you too now. You too. My man said, you know I'm talking about Mr. Bernardo. Yeah. But go ahead.
Nah, but let me keep it going. Have you covered ossuaries before?
Have I covered what?
Ossuaries. OSSUARY.
No, I don't believe
The
so.
meaning is it's a container or room which bones are placed. Famous ossuaries around the world are in Italy, let me see, Germany, I'm got the chills, man. Chechnya, Poland, France. OSS. I'm spelling it out for you just in case you want to look it up. OSSUARY, ossuary, container room where bones are placed.
There's the Santa Maria della Conzone crypt in Rome. Ossuary Chapel Cathedral in Toronto in Italy.
Oh, full of bones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of our people was at too.
Well,
man.
I know
How you keep saying how
that's what we're getting at here. Is
Okay,
the catacombs in Italy, in Rome? They actually got whole cathedrals made of bones. Is that what you're talking about? Whole little rooms.
That's
and
what I'm
shit.
talking about. Yeah.
Boom. You're
They
you're
got
in the right
all around
place,
the world.
champion.
All around the world, man. I just want to appreciate y'all. Thank you, bro. You got me woke up. I'm waking my people up. For
Those are people. Those are
our.
our black French and black folk, because we fought alongside the French against the Nazi. See, but the Nazi was the communist who was running over here. So it is the black French and black Americans are brothers in the fight, because both was overthrown by the Romanov, which is the trick by the church. Go ahead.
Man, and real quick, I don't want to digress, but you messed me up with the man of steel, Andrew Carnegie, man. Andrew Carnegie and J.P. Morgan. Oh man, that messed me up.
Oh, it messed me up too, because it goes back to.
And then Pittsburgh, think about the pit, the fiery pit.
Oh,
Pittsburgh, man.
I never even thought. I didn't even know about fiery pits in Pittsburgh.
I'm just saying, like, when people getting burnt up, they getting burnt up. She just said they get burnt up from raw material and turned into gold and pig iron. You just going to the pits of hell.
You going into the pits of hell,
bro.
Damn.
But I'm gonna sit in the back of the class. Y'all love you, dog. I love you. I love the information. I love your class. Everybody you rocking with. I'm gonna be donating soon, but I'm gonna be tapping in as well, man.
Thank you for that,
keep
bro.
It going,
Thank you.
Keep it going.
My man.
Yes, sir.
I love like connecting with our especially our brothers who we ain't pay no attention to history. We found other shit to do. But I'm happy that we can connect at these ages, from 30 to 40 to 50, 60, 70, 80. I don't care how old you are, but you know, we be living our life. We don't be worried about like if we was in no Holocaust. You know, but this is a subject that needs to be taught. Now, I'm not saying in their schools. It can be online. I don't care. But the Black Holocaust must, you know, I've always felt for the Holocaust like, damn, man, that sounds like some shit that happened to us. But I never in my wildest dreams would have thought we were in a Holocaust until I asked, you know, who am I? Who are we? How could we have fallen so far? What happened to all my people? We can't be from just Africa. African folks don't lose their dialect in 100 years of coming to America. We know them right now. So all of these lies within my personal life got me asking real questions that I think others deserve to ask as well. Shout out to Taj. Shout out to you, King. In my Cash App. Shout out to you. You know, but what happened to the black folk? They could have been cremated. They could have been infused in the steel. Just like they said, the Philadelphia experiment. I'm looking for all the black folk that was in these internment camps. That's what I'm looking for. The ones who was led astray and led on them trains owned by J.P. Morgan and friends. And these people never return home. Never return. And it's like the big shh. No, hell no. Hell no. Press 1. What happened to them? And if we were in the Holocaust, then not if, because it's looking more like J.P. Morgan, Theodore Roosevelt, the federal government, and the postmaster, the United States Supreme Court, William Howard Taft, weak ass, playing these different roles that led to our demise legally. And I think if we focus, this would be the center. This is actually it to me, you know. But this would be one of the greatest pieces of argument that we've ever come across. Not that you were a slave, the fact that you are a victim of the Holocaust. You ain't getting no reparations from no damn slavery. They didn't bring you from Africa. They wrote this into law. They gave themselves reparations. So what you fighting for? Thank you, Darlene Moore. Shout out to you, Miss Moore. Shout out to you. But we gonna take it slow, because last week it was so much. Shout out to Jason Harris, my man. It was so much information. You know, I'm like, just like, hold up. I don't want to bombard everybody with so much information, especially on a Monday. Especially on a Monday. But I do want to know, let y'all know the direction where this arrowhead is headed, and it's for the sake of argument. You know, we're talking Supreme Court level of WTF. When you got William Howard Taft, the same people who are involved corporately working the supreme legal system as well, then you're in breach of contract. Yeah, because that's when you're playing both sides. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. See? That's what do you call it? Conflict of interest. Listen to Kev. Listen to Mr. Gillette. That's conflict of interest, sir. I came a long way, fam. That's conflict of interest. J.P. Morgan and William. See, that's how important it is. We need to find out if these people are really playing these specific roles and zero in on Grover Cleveland, who sent off America's gold to who signed off on that? Who signed off on America's gold being Grover Cleveland? Just can't get, all right, we'll take the money. What Supreme Court fool authorized this horrible transgression of the law? This is the argument, family. Which one of these idiots? We're not supposed to be getting pulled over on the side of the street. All of these is distractions from Agent Smith. Man, keep a clean record. Keep your name clean. Your name is what you got in this world. Your name in your balls. Your word in your balls. Press 1. You find out Buffalo Soldiers over there working with Prussia. They got full Russian gear. Full Russian. So we got individuals. I ain't gonna lie. We got individuals that got all the capabilities to enslaving you. They're in every position. One character, this Theodore Roosevelt guy, is in 5 different positions of power. This J.P. Morgan looking like Grover Cleveland, William Howard Taft look-alike. These people are in positions of power authorizing this whole charade. And then you got these people also caught up in the Boys and Girls Club. Press 1. So you may be dealing with not just psychopaths, but a bunch of Epstein, Weinstein head asses by birth. They probably got whole foundations set up. Press 1. What you think these grown ass men would hang around these little ass boys for? Press 1. So Walter Wyman is what? Theodore Roosevelt is what? Heinrich von Butler, what's his name? Boetcher is what? These are all fucking operatives of foreign nations. Ghosts. Characters. Corporate dead men assumed the role of Americans, or let's just sovereigns, colonials. You understand what I'm saying? all these dead graves out there. And I bet you most of them from World War One and World War Two, with the Great War, Civil War, is you. Because they got the Russians putting themselves in Civil War clothes. This is the kicker. Okay? All of this made up history, in efforts to put themselves in your history line, they say, we was here in the Civil War, way when we were fighting for slavery. We're the good guys. It's astounding how one person can play so many and have so many historical timelines of their lives, and people perceive that to be real. Each one of each character got a storyline where people can authenticate that he said this and this was his son. Then they put the picture up as one of these folk. Like, wait, what? And like, these people come from Russia. Straight up. You're like, wait a minute. That's why it's important for you to understand what your boys was wearing around that time, who they were, because that's going to play an important role into what wars they lying about. You know, military gear, you can be able to tell what year. See, Walter looked like he was around in the Civil War and the cavalry, right? Well, Theodore Roosevelt looked like he's more of the industrial revolution. Him and Heinrich up there. Press one. They have dedicated, well, again, Barber was talking about the daughters of the revolution. These are your librarians. These are the people who write these stories about these great stories are written by women. Oh, he was great. This is like the daughters of the Confederacy on how those colonels, these are the daughters of the revolution. The daughters of the revolution and the daughters of the Confederacy are the same. You just let them tell you, oh, this was the revolution. Oh, and this was because they get both checked. They get both funding by their boss, the Red Cross. So Wader Wyman, he's a whole engineer. These motherfuckers is into blowing things up like Boy Scouts. Again, when you look at Boy Scout, that's a military action funded by the military and funded by the Red Cross. Press one. And a scout is what? A person that observes, looks from a distance, a security guard to detect and report. And to look like Waldo just walking about. Hey, little white man, are you lost? No. I'm observing. I'm scouting. All our officers of the Pope. All of them. That's why I brought up the upside down cross. Because all of them are operatives of the Pope. Who this nation told you better not get caught with these folk. You don't want the Pope and them running your nation now, and you running around talking about you free, but you Catholic. I hate to tell you, Catholic, y'all the most biggest antichrist folk on the earth. Press one. Yep, because y'all failed to realize that the Catholic is the Nazi regime. The Catholic faith is the Nazi regime. faith. The Catholic regime is the Antichrist's favorite regime. The Pope and all that comes from it is of Satan. Here go to Miles Kiosh, 1860 papal medal, the Pro Petri Cedi. It's an upside down cross. What did I tell you about the upside down cross? Who was buried in Rome? Who was buried at the What did I tell you about this? Peter, Saint Peter. Press 1. Peter the Great. After his betrayal, press 1, he hung himself upside down on the cross. Was Jesus hung on the cross? Was your Messiah? No. That's Peter. Messiah is written in the King James Version, and it says he was hung on a tree. On a tree. Peter is the one that felt like, oh my goodness, what travesty have I done? And he hung himself upside down on a cross at St. Basilica. Press 1. So y'all are part of the Antichrist regime, the deniers of him that has come, went, and is to come again. Press 1. Y'all just Christ deny, because y'all consider prophecy fulfilled so you can live in filth. But prophecy is not fulfilled until the Son of Man sends what? I told you they wasn't ready for John 16 until Jesus himself tells you. So you have been misled. Y'all believe in the crafts of Satan, the great mother of harlot, the great Antichrist, the great beast. And y'all are part of the 50 some odd nations that came against God's holy people here in the West. Yep. Y'all have made a confederacy against thee. That means they came together as one. 50 nations as one. Press 1, and that one is the corporate dead state of United States of America Incorporated, which was ran by the great mother harlot, Rome, that sitteth on the 7 hills. Press 1, press 1. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. The reason why it's hard to admit, because you got to know, they want their world on earth. They want hell on earth. Well, you don't know what's a man or woman. You don't know if you want to marry a tree or a frog. You don't know nothing. It's just to flip God's law. And so you wouldn't even think this is a man or a woman. You would think, oh, what a nice lady. No, you wouldn't. You better not think that this is a lady, because this is a damn man. Press 1. Who gained control of the females at the girls' Red Cross, Girl Scouts. Yeah, they was abusing all of them. They was abusing all of them. And it sucks, because these are American institutions. Press 1, and they busted. These are so-called Americans institutions. Now listen to me. These are institutions still in play in America, still getting busted to this day. Press 1. See, the Boys and Girls Club, the Boy Scouts, this they logo right here. Y'all don't know this. Y'all don't understand. But that's okay, because we here. This they logos. They wear Nazi logos. Y'all didn't know that was Hitler's Youth, like I told y'all. I wear my white friends. They know this to be true. The boys, the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts is a youth, Hitler's Youth Brigade. To scout. Oh yeah, and to demolish and to set fire to, and to do many things back in the early 1900s. All of them came on orphan trains by way of humanitarian aid from the great wars that was going on in Europe at the time. So a lot of their kids had to come over here, and because it was a huge war going on at the, what, you don't believe me? There was a huge war going on at the time. So y'all kids, by way of humanitarian effort, was brought here. A lot of y'all don't know this. Taj, you in the air. What up, champion?
Peace, Kev. Top of the morning to you, man. Afternoon, actually, man. How you doing,
champion?
sir? I'm doing great.
Afternoon on the East Coast. Good morning on the West. What's up, champ?
There you go. Hey, man, I see you threw up the little Nazi John for the Boy Scouts.
Oh yes, talk to me about it.
Man, even like it's the floor, the list, or whatever it's called, like that little thing that's on the side of the Saints helmet.
Yes.
Remember, man, we was going through it. That thing is actually like the sign for grenade.
Yeah, that's
so
a
it could be like a little. Yeah, it's like the Foreign Legion's grenade emblem. So it could be like a little slit, like slap in the face. One of them things that they constantly do, where they put it in your face, and it's like they so ignorant they don't even know what we putting in their face,
right.
Man. It like, cause man, that could represent the coups, the way they came through and bombed all the buildings and stuff in these towns, man.
These are the young grenadiers, and they throw those like baseballs and shit. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it's even like, oh man, when I get to the crib, I'm gonna send you a video, because that was one of the Hitler Youth badges. One of the Hitler Youth badges was grenade throwing, tank engineering, and things like that. I'm like, man, I thought these dudes used to just hop through the woods, set fire with sticks.
No, they
had
are
them other
mechanics.
sticks.
They set up a gun unit from afar in an hour. Give them an hour. They'll get up there and build a super gun real quick. Take that bitch right down.
That's it. But man, I ain't had much, man. I just wanted to jump in and share, man. Let you know, man. Appreciate everything you do, man. I'm in the back of the class. Peace.
Man. Shout out to Taj. And again, all information helps. You feel me? That's why they seek and ensure there will not be another Messiah or even one close to his image. No, it's not to his image, and they will. That's why they seek to and assure they will be. They have no control over a so-called Messiah, because the Messiah came and went, or one close to his image. There's you act like you're guessing, like you're trying to make it fit his image. Like you want the image of what you consider the Messiah to look like. Let's just stop it. The so-called Messiah to look very specific, or like Kadisha White. Shout out to you. Shout out to Jamil in the chat room. Let's keep it on these boys and girls clubs and things of that nature. Let's keep it right there. Let's keep this conversation right there. Because Taj was right. You know, the boys and girls club, stuff like that. That played a huge part into adoption. A lot of people was adopted into families when they came here. A lot of black people had white babies. I just want y'all to know that. And they gave these white children their names because they adopted these white children. That's why y'all be seeing those pictures with those mothers got the white baby, got the baby, got the white baby on her breast, feeding them. They didn't say that we were slaves and we took care of their kids and all of this. No, those kids was adopted, and the government was paying people a lot to adopt these kids coming from Europe, and families were displaced of war and they were never going home and all of that. So a lot of those pictures that y'all see are actually from black women who adopted babies for a government subsidy. You never heard of a government subsidy? Press 1. So you would get a specific, it's like welfare. That's another reason, that's another way they got these kids in-house like that. A lot of these children was already 12, 9, 14, perfect for Hitler's youth to come in like, oh, these ain't nothing but some regular old little white kids. Press 1, oh, this sad. Press 1, oh, and then boom. Coffee and Kush TV, you on the air, what up?
Hey, what up, Kev? Hey, this is my first time calling in, man. This Cole.
What's up, Cole?
Gaffin, that shit in my YouTube, man. Hey, they did that shit in the World Fairs, and we were supposed to take that shit down to reconstruct that shit.
What you talking about?
Building all the, on the show.
What about it? What happened?
World Fairs. I sent you a link. In the it's William Cole. If you check out the link, they got the whole story. They already know what they did.
Who you talking about?
I'm talking about J.P. Morgan and all them.
Okay, you sent me a link where?
It should be in the chat.
Oh yeah, we don't do links in the chat. You got to send it to my phone or something. So
yeah.
So what they do?
No, because I don't even talk. Hey, bro, they supposed to they take over the cities, talk about the World Fairs like they all know we're gonna take that shit down at the end. They don't ever take it down though. They don't ever take the whole World Fair down because it'd be too extravagant. And then they start building the little the concentration camps and all that shit. And they sending kids over here by the boatloads.
I think we covered. I think we covered. I think you're about 6 months late. Thank you, champ. Yeah, I think you late, buddy. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think you late. Press 1. I think my boy late. But I do want to play this movie for the audience. I do want to play this movie from my man Taj. Yeah, I think that's Taj, and he actually. And I dropped one earlier this week, but I haven't seen this one of children from over there being evacuated. It's important that people understand evacuees, that's refugee. Evacuee is refugee. And a lot of y'all people come from this. They're just refugees from a different nation. And that's what's the big unveiling is going to be about is, yeah, a lot of people going to be finding out there's nothing more than just refugees, aka black in law, meaning they're given specific rights, but to be honest, not right.
For the second time in this war, and to another 120,000 of them, comes the great adventure. So it's goodbye to the cities and danger areas, labelled and loaded and not forgetting their gas masks. The children head for the special trains, and they're not worrying, they're off on a holiday.
Now, who is that again? The Red Cross. Look.
For the second time in this war, and to another 120,000 of them, comes the great adventure. So it's goodbye to the cities and danger areas, labelled and loaded and not forgetting their gas masks. The children head for the special trains. And they're not worrying, they're off on a holiday.
That's crazy. This look like the World Fair. Shit, look at this. Woo! That don't look like they going anywhere. This look like they getting off.
These mass movements of our children are the greatest tribute in the world to the British way of life. Even in the midst...
Coffee and Kush TV, you on the air. What up?
How you doing? This is Thomas.
Thomas, what's up, champ?
Not much. I wanted to bring up the laws extended to the New Providence and merged states.
Wait, the laws what?
Extended to the New Providence and merged states.
What is that?
One second. That's basically like all the acts and amendments that they did to us all the way back to I want to say, hold on a second, 1839 and up. It's about more than 50. I sent them to you. I think Friday.
You want to go over those right now?
Well, they pertain to all the different things that they had going on.
Yeah, well, right now I'm talking about these. Right now I'm talking about these children. The laws, that's cool, and I'm getting to that. But this show specifically is about this situation at hand. I don't want to.
Right.
I don't want to jump too many different subjects. And it's a Monday. Shit. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for the call, chap.
All right.
Yeah, man. I can't do too many different subject matters and have the audience brains jumping around from one thing to another. Right now, we're talking about the evacuation of these children.
In the midst of the storm and stress of battle, in the midst of the greatest war effort this country has ever known, we don't forget the safety of our children, on whom the future of our race depends. Humanity still plays a part in our life, even though some other nations may have forgotten what humanity is.
Fixed to our body, you know, who we were and everything, and eventually we all walked from Algernon Road down to the station, which is in Station Road, Hendon, and that's where we got on the train. But everybody had their name and address, and we were put together with our siblings, my sister Sylvia and my brother Ronnie. And we were being evacuated to Derbyshire. From the station we walked to a school hall, and we sat in that hall waiting to be chosen or selected to go to the people who were going to be our temporary parents.
You hear me? They still gonna be our temporary parents now. I'm trying to tell you. They just they put them with families.
I.e., the people who were going to be looking after us. We sat with our siblings in the school hall, and then they started allocating the children to different families who were then taking the children away to be hosted by that family.
So when these kids was coming up over here after World War II and World War I and these wars and so on, they didn't even know these parents. These dudes was getting off the train. I remember looking at them. All these families are here to see these soldiers return glorious. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And in real life, they just parent their ass.
Sylvia and Ronnie and myself were in actual fact the last children to be allocated, but we ended up just across the street from the school, Ronnie in one house with a family and my sister Sylvia and myself in the other next door. I can't remember very much, but Sylvia and I actually did share a room. Not particularly. They weren't very welcoming, and when it was the morning and we had to go to school, they didn't give us a drink. We actually had to go to school and get our milk from the school. Well, in actual fact, my father obviously was in the army, so he wasn't around.
Damn. My father was in the army, so, you know, he wasn't around. He wasn't around. Well, nobody around, man. Nobody. Nothing at all.
But my mum and the other two children were evacuated to Sheffield to another family. So the house in Hendon in Audley Road was empty. And as far as I know, I don't think we obviously had letters from them, but I can't really remember.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Yeah. Yeah. What about your parents? You ever stay in contact with? Not my dad, because he obviously was in the army, remember? And then my mom. Nah. Crazy.
Any letters or things from my mother, to be perfectly honest. No, there was an instant before.
Mothers who wave goodbye. Press 1.
It's a very emotive image.
Now listen to me.
And I think it's such an emotive image that it's very easy.
Now listen to me. Remember I told y'all that little Hezbollah little dude?
Stand for the horror of war.
Remember I told y'all about those little people, man? Coffee and Kush TV, you on the air. What up?
What up, Kev? It's Terrence calling from New York.
What up?
You know what? I'm watching the show, really loving to share, especially when it comes to the kids. And I believe there's a piece of the puzzle I might just have.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just when it comes to the kids. I don't know if you remember. Of course, I'm sure you remember. But there was that play called Annie, and the reason why I remember Annie was because actually when I was like elementary school, I was in the play, and when you were talking about like the kids and the orphanages and things. And I started looking at the play and some of the information, and Theodore Roosevelt was the key player in the play because he was the one helping organize like a lot of these orphanages, under his administration. And when I was reading, what really stood out was, let's see, when it was talking about the girls and how the lady the head mistress or whatever in the school was saying she treated the kids really bad and she made them clean. And it was almost like slaves. And I was like, that's where the black people like. So as I'm watching your video about the kids that were kind of being taken in from the other countries, I was like, so what it was, they pushed us out of our houses. And, the adults were at war, and then they put the kids in like a lot of these black kids into these orphanages. And when I watched Annie, I always saw it like as a white kid. So I was like, dang, that's like black kids. Those are us in a lot of these orphanages. Like black kids in orphanages. I
I think what's interesting too is like the father that took over for Annie was Daddy Warbucks.
Sir,
and I was like,
I'm not here to have these long, exhausted conversations about nothing. I'm not here to have no damn conversation with you. I didn't wake up this morning to talk to you about your thoughts on no damn Annie and this one and that one. I got a curriculum. I got a curriculum. I don't think y'all realize that. Do not call me with no stories about shed no light if it ain't got nothing to do with this. They telling what you say, they took the blacks to the prove it. Don't just talk to me. Prove it. I got a Discord. I got emails. I got all to prove it. Don't just call me just freestyling. I know it look like I get up here and freestyle. I don't do that no more. I used to. I usually do. But no, people just send me this stuff now. Now it's just verifying, and I get pages full. So you coming up here trying to freestyle? No, sir. No, sir. People really doing the work, sir. They got the work to back up what they saying, sir. Not just running their mouth because you saw Karen type it in the chat room trying to take her glory. Sit your ass down. Press 1.
There are the mothers who took their children with them as the bombs began to start. And there are also the enormous number of foster mothers who looked after other people's children throughout the war. When you start digging into the archives, when you start looking at evacuation with different questions, then all sorts of different stories.
All these kids, y'all. These are a lot of children. I'm talking about Hitler's youth used by the daughters of the Republic, aka the Red Cross women, to put this sad music on to give a story of how they had to give up their kids to do what? To do what? Or is something else sinister? Is this a fucking invading small army? Huh? Toy soldiers. Hitler's youth.
Emerge. Up to 4 million people were evacuated over the
How many?
Period of the war, and it was triggered by the really genuine fear there was of aerial bombing.
Press 1. This is clear English. This is damn near America, right? This is pure English right there. I mean, thinking back where they couldn't read or write and barely got a glass of milk, that's some really good English.
The Second World War was about bombing not just military targets, but it was about bombing the population.
Y'all heard me? So you know your story is about what? The population as well.
It was about bombing cities. It was about destroying them and creating that level of damage, both to human beings and to the infrastructure, that would frighten them into submission. And the consequences of that for children and for mothers who lived through it trying to protect their children was just horrendous.
Now, this is what happened to you. Remember those big fires that went on? Chicago fire, San Francisco fire, and it was being used. The fireman was out there just like that. That's what happened to you. You were bombed. Actually, I think they're using your footage. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think the man in the high castle, these motherfuckers is using real footage to fit their benefit. But this is really American shit. I just showed you clean on the wall, pure English. Pure.
I think it's hard for us to imagine the horror of the decision-making process that women went through to decide to have their children evacuated. We have mothers talking about how their children had been a joy to them in their life always, and now they were like a sword through their heart because they didn't know what to do. Should they keep them with them, or should they send them to safety, knowing that they could be miserable, they could be unhappy, not knowing where they were going to go, who was going to look after them, how appropriate it was going to be. So
they just gave their kids up. Oh no, they just gave them up. Yeah, you know how crazy that sounds. now that I'm an adult listening to this madness. Yeah, those look like little soldiers to me. Especially that one right there with them glasses on. Could look like a little mini Heimlich Himmler. Himmler, Seth, and little Johnny boy from the Outsiders movie. Press 1. I can see Cub with the glasses on right now. I don't care what you have to do to them. Genocide, special agent chemical, bioterrorism. I don't care. Remove black from my land. Press 1. Already he's signed up. Don't get him fucked up.
Making the most tortuous decision, and mothers made this decision in a very traumatic way. There's a lot of children who talk about, parents having secret conversations behind closed doors. There are a lot of children who talk about seeing their mothers cry for the first time when the letter came home from school talking about evacuation.
10
and then
million
that process
kids,
of releasing them on that day.
If you know, man, in the High Castle, man, they was indoctrinating them kids to come to America and overthrow it. Heimlich Himmler! Press 1. Hi. Press 1. That boy, these little kids. Who you think was asking that little clip I played for y'all, that audio? It was one of these little girls who said, Daddy, Mama, what happened to the Negroes? She was one of them. Press 1. She was crying. She couldn't believe what they did. Y'all did what? Oh, we put them in an extermination camp. Put them on trains. Each cart can fit 100, 150. Oh, yeah. Each cart, they move out, take a shower, they die. We throw body on other train, go other way. Press 1. We go Carnegie, Pittsburgh. Here we come. Press 1. That's some bullshit. I hate to laugh, y'all, but the shit is fucked up. The fuck is fucked up because you can see it. That's the cold thing about it. Motherfuckers just don't give up their damn kids. Come on, y'all. These white folks and their story. They don't just give up their kid and know where to go. You gotta be one. My kid's dying with me. What the hell? Go to where? Australia? Hell no. You better pick this rifle up. That's one. You're not going there. I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck what Hitler said on his television. We don't give up our kids because of some This is a more devious plan. These kids grew up to be fucking watch patrol and Klansmen.
Were observing them on the station report how they were crying and weeping. Others were very upbeat, saying it would only be for a little while, or at least they got their child to safety. Many of them really attempt to continue to care and look after their children at a distance. So we've got one mother who, for instance, had a code with her children, telling them that when they sent the first postcard home, they should put one kiss if their billet wasn't very nice.
Ma'am, who the fuck you think you're talking to? A postcard home? By way of who? J.P. Morgan and these fools? The postmaster? Press 1. So that's why I was about to say this too earlier. That's how they was able to have postcard and that type of shit. Cause I was thinking, how would they get these kids to? Did they write home? And sure enough, you needed to keep track on where they was so they can write home, right? That'll give them postal service right there.
2 if it was okay, and 3 if they were happy. And if there was 1, she would rush down and bring them home again. They send letters to them, they send parcels to them, they go and visit them if they possibly can.
Yeah,
if they can't visit, they send relations. I think there's a tension in that if their children have really settled well, they feel a bit rejected. If their children have adapted the accent, the behaviour, the language of where they are, they feel that they're almost alien. People have talked about sending their children abroad to be evacuated and getting back an elder sibling rather than the child they sent 2 or 3 years later. So I think it's very tricky, that process, and quite painful for them. I think there are a lot of stories which show both how heroic and hardworking women were, and also how distressing the process was. So we have mothers who brought their children back from evacuation only to have them either killed or maimed in the bombing. We have women who are cleaning sheets.
Oh my gosh.
Every single night as they look after several children who are wetting the bed every night. We have people who are so fond of the children that they adopt them at the end of the war because their mother...
Y'all listening to the Candace Owens selling this shit?
...has moved on or their mother has died. Their story has disappeared in many ways from the history books. I think evacuation presented mothers with something they had never had to encounter before. They had to make a monumental decision to really give up control of their children. But I think there's also a national change that comes about. Suddenly the government has to be involved in so many things that belong to the domestic life of the home. They have to start producing documents which talk about the provision of rubber sheets because children wet the beds. They have to inspect homes. And that moves them into the private sphere in a way that they hadn't been before. Suddenly all these people have a view on what mothering is, what good mothering is, what's acceptable mothering.
They got the same babies, girl. They was just picking up babies.
How bad some mothers are. And I think that legacy, that mothering is not a private affair.
This is all propaganda.
But it's a public affair which everyone has a view on, is still very much around today. Evacuation shows the real human cost of aerial bombing and of war. There's nothing glorious about it. It's filled with stories.
Oh, they fucked up with that, with them English words, did they? Because if we're talking France and England and shit like, man, that shit wasn't no English words, bro. That shit was in German and Russian. Press 1. Listen, family. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. Now, go watch war footage of the same bombing that they talking about. You won't see an English word around. Press 1. Press 1. Listen to what I'm telling you. They chopped the videos up. That's them coming here. There is not one word in English in none of these World War I and II videos of bombing nowhere around. They don't fucked up. But all through this video is a bunch of foreign kids you supposed to perceive speak English that's trying to give you the perception, and you know they don't speak English. You know they don't. I'm fucked up right now. This is crazy. You know damn well there doesn't speak no English. English all on the walls. English everywhere. But I tell you what, when the bombing raid came, press 1, when all that, it wasn't not an English word on them, son. It was all Russian and German. So they chopped these videos up and gave them a story with English right here. That's why you won't hear not one of these kids say one word.
Of heartbreak and the difficulties of mothers who are faced with not being able to do their basic first task as a mother, which is to keep their children physically safe. And I think that if we remember how difficult that was at that point in time, it gives us an insight into the real problems that mothers face living in war-torn countries now. You have a very sympathetic attitude to the people frantically trying to get their children away to safety.
Ma'am.
He just said to me, you're going to stay with some nice people who will look after you and be a good girl. I mean, that's all I was told, really. It was only when I actually got on the coach and I knew my mother was crying, of course, but as were all other mothers, that makes me very emotional.
Well, my dad had already gone to war. He was already in the army.
Oh, sure he was, fat ass.
And it was strange being so young and seeing your mum walking away. You know, it didn't sink in until you realised that she wasn't coming back. And you can imagine all these kids around you, all crying and wanting their mums.
And I remember looking across just as the coach was going to pull out, and I remember seeing my mother wiping tears from her eyes. She had a baby because
I'm like, family. No, bro. Nah, bro. Y'all got a whole history. Y'all got a whole. Listen to this. They got a whole history of this shit. They just lied, family.
Two young boys. One was a baby and one was the other one was about 5. And I remember him hanging on to her, and she had a baby. And I remember wiping her eyes. And I turned to my sister and I said, "Oh, Mum's crying. Why is Mum crying?" And she just nudged me and said, "Shut up, be quiet, and get on your way."
I'm not gonna.
Hold up, kid. What about you, sir?
I remember queuing up with my brother. And I know I must have been quite upset. I was probably crying. I mean, I was only 6. And
family. Woo! I think we got their ass. Listen to this shit, family. Come on, my man. Tell us all about it.
I remember my dad running up and sticking a little piece of paper in my top pocket, which I've still got.
What he got?
With my name and address on it, where I came from. So I've still got a little piece of paper that he wrote.
It was only when my mum put me on a bus that I...
You bet not. Press 1. You bet not. Press I bet not see nothing.
I was actually leaving her behind. But I didn't cry at that time. Most of the children were crying on the bus.
Y'all, black ones.
But I looked around and I thought, why are they crying, you know?
Press 1. I got them. Black Russians. Told you, G. Told you.
It hadn't registered, yeah. Quite excited because...
she was the only one. Press 1, she was the only one.
At 5.5, you just don't...
All the other kids was pure white, but she Press 1. Let me go back to that picture. I ain't buying it.
It was only when my mum put me on a bus.
Ma'am, if you don't give Shaquita...
that I was actually leaving her behind. But I didn't cry at that time. Most of the children were crying on the bus. But I looked around and I thought, why are they crying, you know? Because it hadn't registered, yeah.
Bus? I thought it was train. Ma'am.
Quite excited because at 5.5 you just don't really understand, do you, how serious it is. But in any case we had no option but to get on with it.
We were supposed to be evacuated, just my sister and myself, and I think my mother took us to the station and said,
"Oh my goodness, could you say Count Draculisha? Press 1? Oh, Lord have mercy, who's...
Right, no, I'm not doing it. If we go, we all go together, and took us home.
And thousands of people and children being put onto trains, some of them crying, some of them good. We were with our school and school friends and teachers.
Look at them. They got Nazi armbands on. Come on, man.
So we knew them.
Excited, happy. We thought it was. I really thought we were going out for the day.
They made it look like. This is hilarious.
I don't know what my sisters knew any better, but I thought it was the most wonderful thing to go to school and see this big coach drive, and we're all jumping on the coach and we're all singing, "We are Londoners," and we were all singing and so happy. Thought it was a day out.
Man.
A long train journey. And as one settled down and got over the excitement of going, that I remember very much, a lot of children started crying. I do remember the teachers. They must have been as upset as everybody was. They had to come with us and take us. And it seemed to be, it went on forever.
But I remember the journey was just amazing. I thought the journey of seeing all these fields and all these
gas masks,
trees, and no people, no houses.
No people, no houses. Look,
sister, where are the houses? And also, what are those little white dots out there? She said they were sheep. I mean, you must have read that in your book. She said you must have read that in a storybook.
She said, "What's that right there? Those are sheep. Hey, in the middle of America, cuz.
There are sheep and cows." I said, "Oh my God, what do they do?" She said, "Well, cows give you milk." That was the end of that. I never drank any milk from then. When I found out the milk came from cows, I never drank any milk after that.
I think for me it was exciting because
oh my goodness,
I hadn't been on a long journey. I went to Manchester, so to get on a big train and go to Manchester, I didn't really know where we were going, but as long as I was with my mother, I felt quite secure.
When we did arrive at the station we were going to, there was only a station, a shop, a house, and a platform. There's nothing else there. We could have been in the middle of the desert.
That's Red Cross.
There was nothing else there, and these hundreds of children spilled off.
I went to Brecon in Wales, and then when I was in Brecon, there was a big lorry there waiting for me, and these other 7 children, and we got up the lorry, and we went to a village, and it was called Llangfihannel Nant Brent.
We went to a place called Batley, which is an industrial place in Yorkshire.
Oh, they brought their whole country over this bitch. Oh, my white folk, press one. Oh, which all go back. They brought their whole nation with them. They all. They went on the train ride so long they forgot they went on the boat. Press one, train ride everywhere. They forgot they went on the boat, nigga. Fuck.
And we were put into a church hall. Bearing in mind we'd had
an
no
asylum, a church,
sleep or anything, you know. And there was all these kids milling around in this church hall. And all of a sudden, people started to come in and look at you, and you know, what are they doing? And then a person came up to me and he said, "Oh, we'll take him." I said, "No, you take me and my sister. My sister's going to be with me." And there was a big argument ensued, bearing in mind they're all grown-ups and I'm a little boy, but I'm fighting my corner to stay with my sister.
A whole crowd of women, men and...
Wow, they were just adopting kids here.
Women came in and they picked us off one by one. "I'll take that one. I'll take that one. I'll take that." One by one we were taken away to an unknown destination. We didn't know where we were going. My sisters and I were more or less left to the end because each time they picked one of us, we said, "No, we have to stay together." My mother said we had to stay together before we left because we had one tin of toothpaste. My sister, my big sister, had the toothpaste. So she said, "You can't separate because she's got the toothpaste and nobody has any toothpaste if you separate."
Oh my
goodness, we kept insisting on staying together. But unfortunately, eventually the teacher said, "Oh, you can't stay together, you must go." So my middle sister, the 11-year-old, was picked and off she went. And I'm crying, I'm saying, "Where's she going?" And the teacher said, "You'll see her tomorrow." But we didn't see her. We didn't see her for many, many months. We didn't know where she went.
Well, I was in this, we all lined up, you see, and these people all walked along and looking at us, you know, like we was a cattle or something, just looking at us. And I just stood there on the end, and then this couple came up in their 50s. They had grey hair, and they said, "Would you come and live with us?" And I said, "Well, I really want to go on a farm. I don't, you know, I didn't cry at all because I thought it was exciting to see all the animals, and I thought an adventure. I was an adventurous person, right? And I was only 5.5, that's all. Anyway, and then I said, oh, okay, I'll come with you. And when we got to their house, it was a post office. So I lived in a post office for 2.5 years.
I was very worried when...
Press one. Where did she live? Where did they live? In the post office. Listen.
The place was emptying out and I was still there. And I think there must have been only about 2 or 3 people left when they come in, and they apologised to the people who was organising it that they got held up because they run a business. So I was just pleased that someone come and pick me up, basically.
And the lady was saying to her neighbour she didn't believe how clean we were and how wonderful our clothes were, spotlessly clean. Because we'd come from London, they expected us to be dirty little urchins.
We went to Cheshire in Buckinghamshire where we...
Miss, we saw y'all. Where you get them clean clothes from, ma'am? Where you get them clean...
We went as a family, we were evacuated, and there was a man, like a billeting officer, that you had to go to who would tell you where to go. And there wasn't any room, so we walked around, apparently we walked around the area and lay knocking on doors to find out where we could stay for the night. And one lady took pity on us and let us stay for 4 weeks.
Social worker used to knock at the door of different people's homes, and we were in what you call crocodile. So each person knocked at the door, that child went to the next one, and so on. And I wasn't housed, right? Now, she had one person left who was a standby, and she was able to keep me temporarily, only temporarily.
And you never knew why you were selected, you know, you just never really knew what the criteria was for selecting you. But I know we were the last ones, and that did feel awful, because Yeah,
they got these people full of shit. You feel me? I'm gonna give you the real. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I'm finna give you y'all finna get that work. I'm finna give you the real deal Holyfield. Now watch this. Now watch this. You've seen that, right? Now watch this. Like, oh yeah, we didn't know what was going on. All we know is one day we was Russians and Germans in London some damn where. Next minute we looking at cows and sheep in Middle America. Like, what the fuck is that? Press 1. Now watch this. This is gonna get you. See, they all look. My man said they all got this look in their eyes. Yes, sir. They got that look, family. Like, what the, y'all gotta y'all stop thinking these little kids are so nice, right? I'm giving this for purposes of teaching y'all. All right, them same smiles was looking like this. Press 1. Now look, this is Stalin's and Hitler's youth. Press 1. Look, this is Hitler's and Stalin's child soldiers. Press 1 of World War II, but it was before that. So I went and found, while y'all was watching that, I went and found more. But I just happened to find this. It's dealing with who? Stalin's and Hitler's youth. You might as well just say funded by Wall Street. Because Kev got all the books already. We already know Wall Street and J.P. Morgan funded Hitler and the Bolshevik Revolution and the Bolsheviks. Why? Because they're all the same. That's why. I'm not going to play retarded because you want to play retarded. God is coming. We got to get this truth out. God is on his way. Press 1. I'm not going to burn with you. I want to tell the truth. I don't want to go to hell with you. I want to tell the truth. Yeah, I'm cool. So look, let's listen to this really quick. It's only 13 minutes. Let's see what they got to say about the youth that was so-called, we don't know what happened.
Singing songs around the campfire and playing Capture the Flag might seem a cherished childhood memory to many. But when it comes to the youth organizations in Germany and USSR during the Second World War, there was definitely less kumbaya. This is On Your Home Front, a sub-series of World War II in real time. I'm Anna Deinhardt. During the 19th century, several things in Western society changed the ideals of youth culture.
Western society changed in youth culture.
At least from adults' perspective. Among these phenomena are modern patriotism,
Germany, France, look, together.
Uniform militarism,
uniform military, they got them hats.
The rise of nature conservation, the invention of contemporary sport, outdoor leisure, activities and physical education. In 1907, these come together into a movement when Robert Baden-Powell, a lieutenant general in the British Army, starts off the Scout movement for boys in Great Britain. In 1910...
His name is Robert Baden-Powell. Boy Scouts. Press 1 told you. Only you can prevent forest fires looking ass. Don't that look like your boy? Don't that look like a younger version of your boy? Right? Y'all already know who I'm talking about. Mr. Bill. Remember? Look like a younger version of his ass, don't it? All of a sudden. Now let's go. That was for the American. Okay, this is way over there. I told you, wait for these storylines of these individuals.
Of the Scout movement for boys in Great Britain. In 1910, it formalizes into an organization, and the same year, the first Girl Scouts emerge and form the Guide Girls.
Okay, in the same year, the other one, who is said to be the girlfriend, aka boyfriend of him, formed the Girls. So you got two possible homosexuals forming boys and girls. Never mind.
His intention is to use outdoor life
Y'all
to help...
said that's Bill, huh? So he got a different name. We already caught him then. If that's Bill, then we caught them in a whole lie already. If that's a younger version of Bill, let me see. Let me get Bill on the screen. With Houston, we got a fucking problem. Mr. Gillespie is by far. Where's Bill? We are too good over here. That's what makes this channel different from any other channel. We're spontaneous. We're not afraid to ask the real questions like, this better not be him. Press what? We got their ass, y'all. We got their ass. Press one. We got them. It ain't nothing to it but to do it, family. Damn, Robert Baden-Powell. Do y'all research up on him.
British Army starts off the Scout movement for boys in Great Britain. In 1910, it formalizes into an organization, and the same year, the first Girl Scouts emerge and form the Guide Girls. His intention is to use outdoor life to help young people develop their full physical, intellectual, emotional, social, and spiritual potential as individuals.
Really?
Not only for their personal development, but also to become responsible.
So how he had American flags if he in Great Britain?
to help young people develop their full physical, intellectual, emotional, social and spiritual potential as individuals. Not only for their personal development, but also to become responsible citizens and members of the local, national and international communities. A military scout himself, Baden-Powell draws much experience from his own service in the outdoors. He is also inspired by records from backwoodsmen, explorers and indigenous North American tribes' training methods.
Press what? Who? North American
Citizens
tribes.
and members of the local, national and international communities. A military scout himself, Baden-Powell draws much experience from his own service in the outdoors.
Military scout himself. He set out and created the boy. Look what he did.
He is also inspired by records from backwoodsmen, explorers and indigenous North American.
And look who they put as North Americans. Straight Dane Callaways in blackface. Coffee and Kush TV, you're the air.
Hey, Kev, it's Taj, man. I had to call in real quick from work.
Go ahead, Chad.
Remember I told you I found another wild bill. The other wild bill I found is a former U.S. senator. His name is Frederick Gillette. Man, I'm gonna drop a bunch of stuff tonight in the Discord, man. But yeah.
Okay, but what does he have to do with this?
Frederick Gillette is Wild Bill. Robert Baden-Powell is another face on him. But pardon me, I sent you
the same guy.
The same. Look in the Discord. Look in the Discord or check your text message.
All right, thank you, Chad.
Bye.
American tribes' training methods. Made popular across the British Empire and soon across the world through his 1908 book Scouting for Boys, it soon attracts hundreds of thousands of boys and girls to become scouts, all looking to escape the otherwise rather stuffy and rigid life of a child in the Western world of the early 20th century. The movement grows continuously through the interwar period, attracting youth from various social and religious backgrounds. The adventure of exploring the outdoors is attractive. Also, it means to get away from the parents' guarding eyes and take part in the communal experience of gathering around a campfire, singing songs, and organizing rallies independently. They wear the movement's uniform with pride. They demonstrate their positions in the organization's hierarchy by carrying the badges they can earn to learn special skills and do good deeds. But some parents oppose their children's interest in this movement, especially in the countries touched most directly by the Great War. Despite the good intentions laid out, they fear their offsprings are trained as soldiers. A fear cemented through the uniforms, the merit-based hierarchy, and Baden-Powell's military background. A fear that soon materializes in some places as the fascist and communist movements appropriate Baden-Powell's ideas for their own ideological purposes. It begins in Bolshevik Russia in 1922 when the Communist Party forms the Vladimir Lenin All-Union Pioneer Organization.
Boom.
By subsuming the Russian Scout movement. Some scouts had already joined the Bolsheviks during the revolution and formed scouts.
So the Scouts was a part of the Bolshevik Revolution. The Scouts, I don't know what Taj is talking about. Okay, he want my brain somewhere else or something, I don't know. But this is, the Scouts are a key factor in the Bolshevik Revolution. You see, Tosh, I don't know who you chasing characters, but the Scouts. You see, Tosh, you see that? But the Scouts are directly tied to the Bolshevik Revolution.
Like organizations that fought for the Red Army.
Labor.
However, most scoutmasters and many scouts joined the White Army, either as regulars or forming youth battalions. On the Bolshevik side, the Russian Union of Communist Youth, later renamed the Komsomol, persistently tries to eliminate the scout movement, which they feel is part of the bourgeois enemy. The Komsomol develops into the Communist Work Organization for youth over 15. The pioneers are to indoctrinate the under 15s in the communist principles. Both organizations.
And they say the pioneers was here. Okay.
methods lean on Baden-Powell's idea of extracurricular activities and moral upbringing, with the addition of revolutionary thought and socialist indoctrination. The always ready motto of the Scouts is even transported into a Soviet version in the pioneer slogan. Pioneer in the struggle for the cause of Lenin.
Look at that, the red handkerchiefs.
And Stalin, be prepared, and to really mean the invariable answer to the always prepared. In the 1920s, the 15 to 25-year-old Komsomol members develop into one of the major tools for communist reform in the Soviet Union. They are the foot soldiers of the party, a volunteer workforce to support industrialization.
The volunteers, a volunteer workforce to support the industrialization, the driving force to collectivize farms. Oh my goodness.
Driving force to collectivize farms, committee organizers, apostles of communist ideology, and spying eyes and ears for the NKVD. For instance, during the Holodomor, the starvation of Ukraine, a large part of the 25,000 volunteers who go into the countryside to carry out Stalin's policy are Komsomol youth. They preach and organize the creation of kolkhoz farms, turn over anyone that refuses to give up their land, and inform the NKVD of anyone hiding foodstuffs for their own needs. The pioneer organization becomes the incubation factories for the future Komsomol recruits. Here, the children under 15 are indoctrinated into true socialists under the outdoors mantle of fun and games.
So the communists, older ones, created the socialists.
Over the time, the pioneer and regular school systems are so tightly linked that they become virtually interchangeable. But by the mid-1920s, the Soviet youth organization's militarist aspects of the revolution days are gone for now. That idea will instead resurface somewhere else. Ideologically driven, Scout-inspired movements are now popping up in many places where authoritarians are trying to get a foothold. In Italy, the fascists create the Opera Nazionale Balilla in 1920.
So they send these young guys in. Oh my goodness.
The same year, the German Nazi Party aggregates its youth member organizations to the Hitlerjugend, Hitler Youth in short, HJ for boys. The informal sisterhood of the Hitler Youth for girls becomes the Bund Deutscher Mädel, BDM, or League of German Girls in 1930.
Bro, I told you, it's all from the same people.
Boys have to swear an oath to serve the Führer, and in the early days they go through several tests before being accepted to the movement.
So the boys serve Hitler.
10. Through sporting events and weekly meetings, the children are taught the ideology of the Nazi Party. The boys and girls learn about Germanic mythology and the mythical history of German nation. Sports competitions are meant to raise them into high commitment and achievement in the name of the master race. They are indoctrinated and gaslighted into doctrines and anti-communism, racism, anti-Semitism, and other Hitler's cult. Girls are further educated about the importance of family, blood and nation, and the woman's responsibility to uphold these values. By the end of 1932, just before the Nazis seized power, the Hitlerjugend counts 107,956 boys. The BDM has 19,244 girls. In 1933, Hitler tells the head of the Hitler Youth Organizations, Baldur von Schirach, "Whatever we expect from adult Germany can only come true in the long run if already the younger generations is raised in that sense."
Killers.
That is why the ideological acquisition of the youth is the only guarantee of the realization of our ideological assignment altogether.
The ideological assignment altogether, it's subversion. To subvert this sovereign nation.
In June 1933, all other youth movements, including the German Scout movements, are forcefully disbanded. Their members are merged into the HJ and BDM. However, Catholic youth organizations are allowed to coexist for now under the Nazis' Concordat agreement with the Catholic Church. Still, their
Boom. Boom. Damn.
Members and any youth who refuse to fall into the Nazi line becomes targets for severe bullying by the HJ and BDM members. By the end of the year, the HJ counts over 2.3 million members and the BDM close to 250,000. By 1936, they are the only legal youth organizations and count over 5.4 million members.
Now you send these little people over here, boy.
In March 1939, membership becomes obligatory for the German youth between 10 and 18. In effect, 98% of that age group of the population of both genders are now members. The remaining 2% are excluded because they're deemed to be Jewish or considered non-citizens for other reasons.
Let me tell you something. All of them. 2%. What? All of them. All of them. All of them.
The BDM is divided into two sections. One for younger girls, which resembles a radical scout movement.
No, it's not human trafficking because it's an agreed upon consensus. It's not trafficking.
One for girls 14 to 18, primed to prepare them to be homemakers and for motherhood. Or as the saying goes, to give the Führer a baby. Because who wouldn't love to do that? With Hitler's constant, unwavering goal to go to war in mind, paramilitary exercises are introduced to the HJ in 1935.
Jumping out the sky. I'm bugged out, G.
Special departments like the Marine Hitler Youth or the Cavalry.
The who? The Marines.
Hitler Youth prepare boys.
Ain't those Navy outfits? Come on.
For serving in specific arms.
Stop.
The risk of dying for the country and the leader's cause is continuously hammered home as an ideal, a development that does not go unnoticed by the Soviet leadership. In the second half of the 30s, the Komsomol and pioneer leaders start implementing a national defense character into the games.
Mickey Mouse.
Field trips and other activities. Discipline is stressed, and the ideal for a young person in the Soviet Union increasingly becomes a cultured socialist soldier.
Easy.
When the Second World War breaks out, these developments go into overdrive. Between September 1939 and spring 1940, 95% of the Hitler's youth male leaders volunteer for service.
The volunteers.
Leaders volunteer for service. Shooting and field exercises under war conditions are made compulsory for members aged 16 to 18. The Komsomol organizers begin to recruit youth directly for combat service and increase the organization's cooperation with the Red Army. Paramilitary exercises become obligatory for both girls and boys, in the Komsomol and even for the pioneer children. By mid-1940, these exercises completely dominate the life of the youth movements. The training is now meant to replace parts of the basic military training when joining the Red Army.
Y'all stop, G. Y'all stop the madness, G. Stop the madness, G. Stop the madness, G. They're not just out hiking. They're not. Come on, fam.
Children receive modified military titles like Young Private First Class during drills. A year-long competition of military skills for children is announced and draws around 1.5 million participants. During a military-style orienteering event in Moscow in November, one participant is reported to complain. They sure did pick a path for a march. One of his teammates responds, "Did you want asphalt? In a war, there won't always be asphalt." In Germany, the paramilitary training of HJ members also increases. A 1940 paper on HJ military exercises declares, "The firing practice of the Hitler Youth has to be developed with highest precision. as it is the most important goal to uphold the superiority of the German soldier. Therefore, the Hitler boy must receive a fundamental training to become a good shot before he reaches the age fit for military service. And while the boys keep on training, the girls are given another chance to prove their worth to Hitler's cause. 1,400 female leaders of the BDM are relocated to serve in the newly established Reichsgau-Wartheland in Poland in 1940. They are then instructed to help ethnic Germans settle into their new homes, teach them German customs and the racial ideology. In 1941, Gertrude Fischbacher writes a letter about her service in the village Brody in district Jublin. Keenly the people follow the events of the war and ask us daily where our men are stationed at the moment. So we think that we are on the right path to establish in Brody a real German village community and will continue on this path.
Germantown.
When Germany breaks its treaty with the USSR and invades in June 1941, the war is finally at the young pioneer and consummate member's doorstep. Many youths burn their membership cards before occupation to escape the Germans and join the partisans when they can. When the Wehrmacht stands at the gates of Moscow, many of them form into an underground militia in preparation for occupation. When in 1942 the German troops are withdrawing from Moscow and in retreat, the Komsomol and pioneers are tasked with removing corpses, shoveling snow, and handling other children who have been orphaned or separated from their parents.
Okay. So you can clearly see by merely just listening, it has a lot to do with what happened here. A lot. Okay, so it wasn't just Hitler's youth, it was also Stalin's youth. This is one conjunction of youth. Okay, not 2%, not Jew. All of you guys share the same bloodline. So of course, they were prepping these children for war a long time. They was prepping these children for war a long time, and damn, it just goes to show, hey, damn, it wasn't just Hitler. It was Stalin, Hitler, and whatever the bankers were doing here in America, because by way of Catholicism and the Red Cross, they got on this land by way of the Red Cross and the Catholic Church. J.P. Morgan assumes the reserve gold from Grover Cleveland in what year? So was it after the gold did they invade? Or was it before? After? Because, I mean, they already had one Wall Street issue where they tanked. And again, who business is that they tank? Okay, the business tank. But for them to go on an all-out siege, tanking would mean you have to give up land and all that other shit. Almost 100 years ago. Well, I'm gonna shut it down here, give my mind some time to rest. But as you can clearly see, that guy who set up the Boys and Girls Club, these are Nazis. If that's him, that's him. These are Nazis. This is proof that these are Nazis. Did you hear what I said? I said this is living proof that this is a Nazi. That's the same guy who founded the Boys and Girls Club over there in Adolf Hitler and started Hitler's Youth. This is this guy here. So whatever we heard today, we know that it is confirmed that the same guy under a different name, listen to me, a whole different name, that lets you know they're using different names. This is 100% proof of everything we've been naturally unfolding on the show. Just naturally. Just naturally. Like I said, I'm not forcing, I'm not like exerting myself any longer. People know I'm just chilling, taking my time, breathing. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get to these historical sites to better serve my community and the people who support my broadcast. You hear what I'm saying? I'm not really worried about what's going on. If you want Kevro at night, Coffee and Kush TV entertainment, that's coming right there. Oh, that's coming on my other channel. That's coming for sure. We're gonna talk about all of the silliness when Kev ain't got shit to do at night, you know. But for the most part, I'm keeping the history. Nobody else has found these Russians and Germans and over here in America. This guy right here with no prosthetics. No prosthetic. Kind of like Stalin and JP Morgan Jr., right? No prosthetics needed. You know, just an older version of himself. So when did he become an Englishman? When did he become an Englishman? Is the see, when you caught, you caught. And I believe we got him on this level. You feel me, Taj? You see, when you zero in, see, we ain't got to do the characters. This guy is right here. You gotta do that. No. Why? Why look for another one? We're not looking for Wild Bill. Wild Bill is a character. We're looking for his Russian guy, his Russian self. See, like the Man in the High Castle, y'all gotta know, John Smith plays so many characters, he loses himself. It's that female who stays with him every character, she on his ass. It's that woman sniper on his ass. You feel me? And that's how you got to be on. You don't let the character go. You follow the character. And you find him in multiple stages of his life. Here he is, an older person, founder of what? National Boys and Girl Scouts right here in America. But his other self is who? And who did he find? Oh, Hitler's Youth. So here I am, Kevin Gillespie in 2020, breaking down Hitler's Youth and connecting them to Boys and Boy Scouts and saying these got to be the same folk. And look who I run across. The man who trained them both. The man, I don't know, you calm down with all this extra. The man who trained them both. That's deep. That's deep. So I'm gonna do my research on that and do as much as I can with providing that. But this is real big. This is real big. This is for sure a German Nazi American. Could you believe that? Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. A German Nazi. Did anybody catch his name? What was his name again? Do I got to go back and restart it? But yeah. See, in America, then he formed up and now he's a Wild Bill. A Negro. Press one. A black cowboy in America. So Wild Bill, did anybody see Wild Bill's family? Does Wild Bill even have a family? Huh? No, because why? Because it's him. That's why. Because it's him. Bullshitting around, putting that stuff on. jumping around on horseback like he does, created another character of Negro descent as if he's an Indian. See, he became an Indian here. First he was a German, then he was American, then he's Indian. Unfucking believable. Unfucking, what's his name? Baden Powell. Let me do my research on this really quick. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, piece of shit. Press 1. A racist. Yep. Yep, that's him. That's him. Oh, y'all in trouble. Oh, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. That's him. Can I bring him on the screen one time, y'all? Can I bring him on the screen one time, y'all? Just one time. Jeez Louise, man. I'm going to bring him up just one time before I get up out of here. See, when you got him, you got him. But when you got him, you got him. I'm extremely proud of people who just send in information that led us this far. That... Oh, I love it. I love it. It really does something to me. It let me know we on the right path, man. That it's starting from the Red Cross to the Boys and Girls Club in that order. Press 1. In that order. The Boys and Girls Club in that order. In that fucking order, family. We going in that order from the Red Cross to the Boys and Girls Club. And I'm going to get him in his younger days so I can get all his whole life. They created all these stories of this individual. I'm going to get his whole life up there. A straight Nazi. Nothing more, nothing less. I don't believe it. And his wife, Lady Baden-Powell, founded the what? The Girls Club. And she looked like the lady who was just sitting on a damn screen talking shit about being a damn adopted person. That's so scary. Ooh, these some scary folk here, y'all. She done kidnapped all these kids. Oh my goodness. So in America, he's known as this. Over there, they're known as that. And y'all gonna sit up here and pretend like y'all don't know y'all share the same history as Germans, Russians, under different names? Oh yes. You know who left out the whole equation? Afro-Americans. We the only ones who don't know. These people all got different names and everything. Their history is just by far the most deranged. That's why I stay in the house. It's the most deranged ever. Press 1. Shout out to y'all. The most deranged I've ever seen. Hit that like button and subscribe. Contribute to the page. Shout out to the people in my Cash App. Who is this right, y'all? Who is this? So I can get my shout outs out the way. Bismillah, Holloway, shout out to you. You must really enjoy that. So we have now officially connected. German Boy Scout with American Boy Scout. All of them are Hitler's and Stalin's youth. Confirmed. Okay? Confirmed. So this history has to be retold. Just off of this alone, this is a full-fledged Nazi. Your history of the Boy Scout itself is through the eyes of a racist. Planned Parenthood through the eyes of racists. Whoever installed these people are part of the overthrowing government to slaughter, okay, just like USSR taught them, all who do not comply. Okay, state property. You don't want reparation. No, that's for some people who came over here on the boat. They got to work. Press no. That ain't what you do. Coffee and Kush TV. Thanks to those people who in the chat room, the people who continuously support this broadcast by way of information, the like button, my contribution pages, the people in my Patreon. God bless y'all. That's really where I want everybody at, just in case something happened to my channel. Y'all know where I'm at. I don't have very many Patreons, but it is growing. So shout out to the people who are over there, and that's who really keeps us rolling, because they deliver information on Patreon as well. So shout out to y'all, the people in the chat room. Shout out to my moderators and the people who just enjoy truth all together. I see y'all tomorrow, or God allows tomorrow or the next day. But I'm gonna continue to compile this information on Red Cross, Boys and Girls Scouts of America, the ideological subversion. This is like the core umbrella of how they did it, and there's more to come. And as always, family, I'll holla.